Welcome back to another episode of Who Got the Aux Podcast. Before we get started with this one, last episode I discussed are your sacrifices matching your desires? Or what you putting out or what you putting in matches what you want to put out? You can check that podcast out. That was episode 58, I believe. Oh, 59. So this is episode 60. Cool. I try not to keep count. Don't really matter. This episode, I thought of, I was in the shower and I was thinking about what else could be discussed, right? How not to discuss the same topics over and over again, but, just try to give information, try to help people out, especially with the New Year's coming up. It's all about having the right mindset at the end of the day. You have all the equipment, the money and all that, but if the mindset isn't right, it doesn't matter. And it came to me was moving in silence, right? You hear it all the time. People say, get off social media, lock in, disappear for 3 months and change. And it all sounds good, but it's never, I'm not going to say it's never. I've never seen it explain the why explained. And since I did that, as I do on all these episodes, I'll speak from personal experience. So as someone that's been making content to go online since I was 14, Fruity Loops, MySpace, rapping, freestyles, chat boards, forum boards, chat lines, all that stuff. I've done it. We're conditioned to have an idea, to fast forward actually learning the process of developing that idea, just something that can go, putting it out to the world. And if it's merch, we want to sell it. If it's music, we want you to buy it, download it. And if it's a podcast, et cetera, right? And then we're part of the rat race now. Like, how many views can this one get? How many views can this one get? And once you realize, like we've said before, algorithms, and there's way more other things that go into actually determining if your stuff is actually good. But if people aren't putting that work in, as we say, if people aren't putting the work in, if people aren't understanding the platforms that they're using, then they're just going to think that it's a reflection of them. We discussed that, right? Well, then what ends up happening is you try multiple things. Like I say, I've done beats, didn't really get a lot of views, didn't catch a lot of tractions. Done rapping, caught a little traction, made a couple of mixtapes, nothing crazy. Did a podcast, 150 plus episodes during the pandemic. Didn't turn out the way I wanted, and then I'm back again. But between that point of the 150 plus podcasts falling and then me coming back February this year, I got got off social media. Like, it was the weirdest thing being off social media for like a month. You literally do not know what's going on in the world. Like, from your local news station, which I don't watch either, but think about everything that happens. Kanye, this, that, a bombing. Like, I knew nothing. And I was in conversations where people were discussing things with the assumption that we all knew what was going on, with the assumption that we were all on the internet. So it was an interesting perspective, but I did that because I wanted to relieve myself of the pressure of having to perform, right? You come up with a podcast and all of a sudden, 1st of April, I want to go by summer. I want to go by this or that. And it's like, you going backwards. You give yourself a deadline of a date, and then you try to come up with a game plan and figure out exactly how everything works. And that creates pressure. And then by default, you're not going to hit that goal. You're not going to hit it for the most part. And then again, you're down on yourself for something, for being misinformed, basically. Not necessarily your fault in a sense, right? The way I look at it is you go low. So you take away the wanting of likes, you take away the wanting of shares, you take away the wanting of being accepted or whatever social media does for you, and you focus solely on the work. So in the beginning, it was tough. Not gonna lie, it was tough because I was used to coming up with an idea, half-assing it, throwing it online. This time I didn't know what to do. I was like, all right, like, where's the push when there's no deadline, when there's no audience? Where is that going to come from? Why would I wake up every day to do this when I'm not going to release it, when no one's going to know? But once you start accepting that feeling, it's kind of like with the gym too. Once you accept the feeling that I'm doing this for me and no one else, That's what's going to actually propel you when you finally step out, when you finally let everybody in on what you're doing. Because at the end of the day, you have to be doing it for yourself. And a lot of us do not do it. A lot of us aren't conditioned to do it, aren't trained to do it, aren't molded to do it, right? We're the thought process is give this to the people and let them determine what my stuff is. And that's always going to go bad, right? It's online. It's nothing but trolls, ill-informed people. Like, you really think I'm going to put all this work into what I do and let someone who works at a regular job, who does no type of content creating, judge or dictate or tell me how to do my job? You see what I'm saying? But you can't have that mindset if you don't go low and do the intangibles. Like, I took LinkedIn learning classes to learn my camera. I went out to random parks in my neighborhood. I think back on that now, like that was such a weird thing for me, because I'm like, I got all this gear. I'm like, and I was in my head like, who do I think I am? Like, people gonna be looking at you like, oh, this guy thinks he's a photographer. This was all in my head when I first got my camera, when I went out and was shooting and trying to do the stuff that I was learning from the classes I was taking. I was still in my head because it was almost like an imposter syndrome, right? Like, you just got the camera, but you work all that out in silence. I didn't have to worry about posting novice pictures that I took and having someone who may know more be like, your color balance is off, and then just destroying my growth. I was able to just do it, play with it, edit it, do it, and just kind of grow on my own, but then start putting in those work hours, start getting more comfortable with my equipment, start getting more comfortable speaking online, learning microphone placement, learning, proper equipment, lighting, how to light your room, how, painting my walls multiple times because of, dark, solid, gray, black, absorbs light, bounces light. Had to learn that. Learned it all on my own, but I started enjoying the process in return. I started enjoying executing little things like, oh, dang, look at my light. Look at me on camera. I did the right lighting. Oh, listen to me. Oh, dang, I kind of, it sounds like a Joe Rogan podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, tweaking little things here and there. Like, oh, look at the setup. Look at the composition of my shot. Like, oh, dang, I did that. Little things. You build up. So now when I go out and put my stuff out, now I'm not low anymore. I come out in February of this year. I'm telling people I'm coming back. Boom, boom, boom. I'm coming back for myself. You can listen. You can subscribe. You can follow. You can do all of that. I would love that. Obviously, that's what's needed to grow and to build a career. So I'm not going to sit up here like I don't care. But I don't make this content for you in that sense, if that makes sense, right? Like, obviously, I need y'all to support, but it's going to get made regardless. And I'm going to have confidence when someone tries to maybe check what I'm doing or something. It's like, we can have this conversation now. Because that was one of my main goals, was like, let me learn this stuff so I can have the conversation about camera talk or lighting talk or gear talk, right? So it gives you that confidence that you need to go longer. So going low, like, we hear the cliche workout videos or those influencers, like, you got to get low, go dark, go in the mountain, da da da. It's like, yeah, that's extreme. I get the point they're trying to say, but really it's about learning whatever craft you do at your own pace. See, once you don't have a timeline, like when I was gearing up for the podcast, I started August of last year, and I dropped my first show February of this year, but there was no deadline. I didn't get a deadline until I started doing test episodes. And you can go back on my channel. I was releasing test episodes. I was calling test episodes, and basically just getting comfortable again, talking on a mic and seeing myself on camera, and it's slowly letting people know I'm coming back, and not coming back with words or a countdown. Like, look, I'm coming back. Look at the set, right? So you want to get low to give yourself to have patience and to give yourself that workspace to really learn what you want to do. And I can't tell you how much that helps. It's so, it changes your whole online relationship, right? I use these examples all the time. If you're rapping, what is popular things? People do makeup, hair, rapping, vlogging, vlogging. That whole thing, tripod, talking to the camera in public, you couldn't pay me to do that, right? I don't care now. But if you want to do any of that, you want to research the people who are successful in your space. and research their YouTubes and see how they make their thumbnails and see how they make their titles and see how they for makeup, see how they like attack a eyeshadow video, see what angle they took, see what information they're providing, and be like, oh wow, she don't know, and take notes. I'm telling you, I'm gonna make a video before the year end. I have all these sheets of paper of notes, and it was like I was in a class basically. And you just take your notes, you try it, you see it, you hear yourself for the first time, you see yourself, you're going to go through that cringe phase, you're going to go through the imposter syndrome phase, but you get to do all that by yourself. And then once you're comfortable enough to where you're no longer cringy and you're no longer feeling imposter syndrome, you're no longer judging yourself, then that's it. You've crossed over now. Because that's the thing in life. Once you're comfortable with what you're doing, no one else on the outside can deter you from that goal. And that's why a lot of people get deterred, is because they're not even sure if they're doing the right thing. So if someone comes and it sounds like they know what they're talking about, you start to fold up, you start to get a little, clam up a little bit. But when like, no, I've talked to myself, I've done it, blah, 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 blah. I was quiet, I wasn't online, I was focusing. It's a game changer. So that's, to me, what it means to get low and get off. Like, don't just get offline, get low, and do nothing, and then just count down until I'm going to take 30 days off social media, and then you just do nothing with your life until the 30 days come, and then you binge everything just to catch back up and defeat the purpose of getting offline, detaching, right? So I would say I felt like this was a good topic because, the end of the year is coming, the New Year's resolutions are coming. People with goals are coming. Like, people talk crap about it. I always say, I would rather someone constantly put a goal out for themselves, even if they fall. I'd rather you do that than to do nothing, than to be uninspired, than to be depressed, than to feel like there's no hope. I would rather you just keep trying every year. Hey, that's better than nothing, right? So I felt like this is the perfect time. Go low, man. Go low. This time of the year anyway, you know what I'm saying? People are going to be showing off their trees and all their Gucci and all their fancy gifts and, say that God blessed them. And, that's just their way of just showing off all the nonsense stuff they have. It's the perfect time to get low, actually. It's a real good time to get low because this superficial time of year, like, I enjoy Christmas for a way different reason. I'm going to make a video on that than what most people do. But this would be a perfect time to get low. Go into New Year's low, working on your craft, perfecting it, and then pop out February, March, or April with confidence you never had. I tell you that from experience. I am living proof right now. All this stuff you see, all the content you see, that was the process I took before I released my first podcast, February of this year. I wouldn't tell you anything that I'm not currently doing or have done. I think that's what separates me from a lot of these people that talk. A lot of these people just take the low-hanging fruit and make a nice video and get super dramatic. That's cool. It works for them. Get your numbers. I don't care. Everything I say on here is either from personal experiences that I went through or I'm going through. I thought of it on my own. I lived life, and then it hit me. I write it on my phone. I come back, I work it out, and then we talk about it. And most of the time on this podcast, that's the unique thing of this podcast too, is I don't come in well prepared in a sense. I kind of like to talk it, and then if you watch all my shows, by like middle of the podcast to the end, I usually come to the conclusion, the crescendo of what was trying to be said. But I work it out through the show because I think that just makes it more realistic. That's how we're all going through life. Nobody's just showing up with the perfect plan. We're all just trying to figure it out. So get low, and not like dancing. I mean, if you want to do that, that's cool. But that's if you decide to go offline, that is be the perfect way to use your time and to put yourself in position to hop back out with supreme confidence. Thank you for listening to another episode of Who Got the Aux Podcast. WhoGotTheAux.com. All media episodes. I say that because my YouTube video started at episode 28, I believe. So there's like 27 other episodes that aren't on YouTube, but there are on WhoGotTheAux.com. Full audio only. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Who Got the Aux, one word, WhoGotTheAux_ on Twitter. I appreciate everybody that subscribes, follows, shares, comments, likes. It means everything. I know it might be a small gesture for you, but you got to understand when someone is putting in their hard work and telling their truth, blood, sweat, and tears, and you have people share without you telling them, comment without you telling them, say, I needed this, you changed my life, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's amazing. It gives me purpose. Like I said, I'm already doing this for myself. So then when I get other people that's giving me this extra, that just gives me the extra boost to keep going. So I appreciate it. See y'all at the next episode. I'm out of here. Peace.